What's up, everybody? How you doing today? Angel CR Gaming here, and welcome to Creators Lobby. I am your host, not with the most, but there is one person. Yes, I said this before, but the last guest that we had, this one is fairly, not even fairly, extremely special because yes, if you already know, this man is known for speed runs. All types of speed runs, dabbing in from like Resident Evil to your Parasite Eve, all kinds of speed runs. He's into the horror genre. Please, everybody, help me welcome my boy, Showtime. What's going on, Show?
Yo, what's going on, Angel? Thanks for having me.
Anytime,
How
good
you doing?
sire. I'm getting over my sickness. I got a cup of tea. So you and Shondor are the only two where I had a cup of tea just to get back. Yeah, hell yeah.
I got my coffee right here. Been sipping on that.
Should we raise a pinky for this occasion?
Mm,
Aha, that's right. Fucking
that's right.
fantastic. By the way, before I get into my questions, love the shirt. Love the shirt.
Oh, thank you.
I have not seen
Yeah,
one of those in like, God, a decade.
yeah, I got it at a thrift store nearby. Found it for like maybe $2.
What? Oh man.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm hopping on that.
Man, I'm
Yep.
jealous. I can't find that around here. They have like Raggedy Ann clothes at the places we're at, so it's got holes and everything. By the way, awesome video game collection in the background there. You want to talk a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit
thank
about
you.
that first?
Yeah, sure. So I've been playing video games my whole life. I was actually born in a household with a Nintendo. From what I was told, my dad gave my mom an NES for like Valentine's Day or something,
Oh shit.
and I don't think she liked it. And my dad never actually really got into games. It was just kind of like the thing. So
Right.
I just kind of just grew up with like the NES in the household. My brother and I would just grow up playing. And, over time, just accumulated the collection, and I didn't really think of it too much as like, oh, I'm a collector or whatever until like maybe 10ish years ago or
Yeah.
to want to get into it. I was just more like, no, I'm just really just holding on to my collection I've had throughout my life and stuff. And yeah, it got to a point where it's just like, yep, I just like to own them and I just like to see them. I don't even really have to play them too much.
Yeah.
Most of this, pretty much like 90% of these are all accumulated like at actual like stores, like retro stores. It's like it's really rare that I order online. So because I like the thrill of the hunt, you know.
Yeah. That is amazing.
But
Dude,
yeah,
honestly, a lot of those are gonna be like, I would say maybe in the next 5 years, all that physical media, especially the old school physical media, they're gonna be gone. We're not gonna be able to, physically have them anymore within the next 5 to 10 years,
yeah, yeah.
unfortunately.
It's already starting to show signs of that with modern gaming. So yeah, either it's just gonna go up in price or it's just gonna like go back down if nobody cares about it. But we'll see how it goes, really.
Yeah, we blame you fuckers for ordering shit online and ordering the digital. Fuck yous.
Yeah, it's more so like once our generations are long and gone, right? Like
Yeah,
the ones that actually care about this stuff. That's like once we're all gone, then yeah, who knows if this stuff is even gonna have value anymore.
probably not, honestly. It's just now we own
Yeah,
like a temporary fucking license if you buy them, digital. It's like, I'd rather just have the whole like full fucking license to that shit if that's the case.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not the same. Like you're just downloading like yeah, like you said, a license to play it. And they can remove it from the store at any time. And also, like having digital media just means that we can't really go back to the days of where we used to like, hey, can I borrow this game? I'll let you borrow this game.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like trading,
Yeah.
like the whole physical aspect of it is just gonna go away. And hopefully, we see like a surge in demand for that in the future, just like for newer generations wanting their own version of it.
I hope so. That would be nice to, at least
Yeah.
experience that before our time comes. Our
Yep.
generation just passes on and next generation starts to get into the same hunt, hopefully, maybe.
Yeah,
But
we'll see.
but
But for now,
yeah.
I'm enjoying just collecting. I actually just went last weekend with
Ooh,
Rooks.
what?
Shout outs to Rooks.
Ah, damn. Hi, Brooks.
I actually just went out last weekend, him and I, last Saturday, driving around to the local retro stores, and I picked up a bunch of stuff.
Oh my
So
god, dude, you gotta send me pictures later after this. I'm so
yeah,
down to see that shit.
yeah,
All right,
I'll
but
send you some pics.
sounds good.
Actually, I actually have last week's haul all sprawled out on like a table out there in
Oh
my
hell
living
yeah!
room.
All right, I'm ready for
So
that. Then when that comes in, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna hit the people with some questions. Well, I'm gonna hit you with some questions for the people so they learn a little bit about you. And then, like we discussed, you know, there's gonna be questions that if you don't feel comfortable answering, of course you can mask it. So you don't have to give full 100% detail, but you can at least give general ideas. So we're gonna start off with question number one. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Illinois, uh, the Chicagoland area. So I've always been like a suburbanite type of guy. Like I grew up in the suburbs. It's just where I've always lived. But yeah, my hometown is pretty much just about like an hour away from the city of Chicago.
Okay. Okay, that's pretty cool. And like I'm actually when I grew up in Chicago, I think I believe I told you I grew up in the worst side of Chicago, so it's like, when I
Ah,
first saw the suburbs, I was like in awe because I didn't think there was such a
uh,
place as like a safe place. So it was like, like a brand new territory to walk into.
yeah.
And you
And
were you were
or
in like
and to
the
speak on that,
safest.
like,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead, go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
No, to speak on that, yeah, like I didn't realize like how safe and comfy it was until later in life. Because I remember I skateboarded back in the day and I used to take the train to
Yeah.
Chicago, do that. And then also like my aunt lived in Chicago back in the day. So I made like many trips out there. But yeah, later in life, I started to realize like, wow, man, like, yeah, I've been kind of living under like under shelteredness, I guess to say,
Yeah.
in a way. So
I mean, if you're a parent, obviously you want your kids to have the best. You know what I'm saying? And like
yeah.
where I'm at currently now, it's safe-ish. So I can't really say
Mm.
it's on the same playing field, but you were blessed enough to at least be away from all the nonsense, having to like stay
Yeah.
away from it. Um, but listen, all right, I got a question for you now.
Sure.
You have been doing content for quite a while now. What I want to know
Yeah.
is how long have you actually been doing content for?
Real content, I would say I got into it around like the year 2015. So
Okay.
yeah, we're actually like late 2015. So we're actually approaching like the 10-year anniversary. I would say like this December.
Oh
What
shit.
when I officially started content creation. I So yeah, back in 2015, I just remember I was watching a lot of YouTube. This was back in the Let's Play eras.
Yep.
Believe it or not, Game Grumps was a huge inspiration for me.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody remembers Game Grumps. I'm
I
not
do.
into them anymore. Kind of grew out of them, but I used to be really into them. I even saw them live.
Dude, that is sick. That is
Yeah,
so
they
sick.
were. Yeah, and then also Super Best Friends Play was an inspiration.
I,
They were a Let's Play.
I've actually never heard of Super Best Friend Play. That's that were they like a group of people that did that, or was it just like one individual?
Yeah, they're from Canada.
Okay.
And they're basically like they were like four guys just doing let's plays, just shooting the shit, being real while playing. And yeah, it was another that was like the other let's play uh shows that were I was really inspired to do my own series with Shondo with, that's where it eventually led to is that's kind of what got me sparked to want to even get into that stuff. Just watching a bunch of YouTube and gaming collection videos, that sort of thing. Game reviews on YouTube, all about it. And I wanted to do it myself, and I asked Shondo if he wanted to do it with me, to do the Let's Plays, and that's kind of how it took off.
That is amazing. Oh my god, dude. He actually told me a little bit about your guys' start. And from what he had explained was that he was the guy that was just like, I want to have fun with it, but you were more of the mastermind behind the business. And I'm like, that's
Yeah,
interesting because I never knew that. I thought it was like collectively like let's just have fun with it, but I didn't think that there was a whole business aspect behind it, which I thought was really cool.
yeah. Back then, that's kind of how like I saw it, and I think a lot of people saw it is like, okay, like this can be a business. Like first and foremost, obviously, it was it's something I'm just naturally drawn to and wanted to do. But it's cool to know that like if you do hit it big, like you can make a career out of it, and that was kind of the thing back then. Like everybody wanted a piece of it. And so yeah, I was kind of like the leader when it came to like the I guess the quote unquote business side because our channel was monetized and everything. So
Yeah,
and then also doing all the video editing too for the Let's Plays and like I was like the tech guy. I was like the tech guy and the business head. And then Sean was like the party. Like he was like the you know what I mean? Like he
yeah.
was like the personality to bounce off of and like that sort of thing. Like I kind of tried to look at him as like he was like the star of the show just because like I've known Shondo forever,
Yeah.
and he just has one of those electric personalities where everybody in the room knows he's there. Like he's the life of the party. So like I knew it was good to have him.
Okay. I respect that. I like that.
Yeah,
That is a
yeah,
perfect partnership is what I like to call that, you know. And then
it's a good yeah.
and I understand too, like over time you guys had started bringing in other members. You had Cactus who eventually joined in. You had KC who also joined in.
Hmm.
Can you
Yep.
can you talk to us about your experience having four members versus the two when it was just you and Sean, and now you have these other two guys who you were like, let's bring them in to see what kind of dynamic we can build with this.
Yeah, so it was originally just Sean and me on like the spotlight, but Casey was kind of in the background. Like he was interested from like kind of pretty much from the start, like wanting to actually be at the recordings and stuff, and then
Yeah,
helping out with like figuring out the tech stuff. So like he would kind of be like my secondary like tech like
yeah.
to help me like even like he's a good digital artist too. So like he was like creating like thumbnails and he was just like he was interested in all the stuff that I was interested in, and so we were like learning together.
Okay.
So that's where KC came into play. Um, and so he didn't really want to be in the actual spot, like in the actual shows, until like later. I think it was mostly around a little bit before we started the stream process. He was a part of some shows, like I think we were doing like Final Fantasy VII recordings and stuff.
Yeah.
But and like he had like his own series of like Zelda. Uh,
Ooh, okay.
but but then a little later, Cactus, he's a friend of ours that is in our area, and I've been friends with him for a while, and go to the bar with him and everything. And I just remember one night at the bar, he was asking me about like, so like, yeah, I've been noticing that you guys have been doing this like YouTube thing. I think it looks cool. Like, I'm really interested. Is it all right if I join you guys? And I'm like, hey man, the more the merrier. I think this is great. Like this is kind of like my goal here is like I wanted to just try to get like as many people that were interested involved and just make it like this huge family,
I like
like
that.
this huge YouTube family. So, but yeah, that was a little. So that was like a little bit down the road, and then yeah, Cactus. So we all, so like the four of us, like we would do tapings and stuff, and then uh, it eventually went into streaming back in like in the middle of 2016, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and I guess to answer your question, like the group dynamic thing, it is really good if everybody's coherent and wanting the same thing. But having to lead a team of people can be pretty challenging when it comes to this sort of thing, content creation, because a lot of times, including myself, we all kind of want to do our own thing
Yeah.
at some point, and we all just can't agree. So you have your ups and downs. Like you have your times where it's like everything's really good, and then you have your times where obviously people disagree and not everyone's on the same page. But that's just kind of natural when it comes to a group dynamic on like content creation in YouTube. So not for everybody, but if you could pull it off, then that's great. So
Okay. Yeah, I actually can see where you're coming from with that. That's really interesting.
yeah.
Now, I have a really curious, 'cause I don't think I asked Sean this question at all in his interview. I think it skipped my mind, and I would rather save it for you anyhow, since you were mainly the mastermind behind everything that had happened so far
Mhm.
with you guys. Tell us the history of the Baddest Dudes. Where, like, how did you come up with that name? Like, where does that, where does that come from?
um, I'm pretty sure that Sean was the one that coined it,
Okay.
because like he was all about the name Bad Dudes, and so when we were trying to brainstorm ideas, he came up with well, could we maybe something to do with Bad Dudes? And I'm just like, we can't really do that because of copyright stuff.
Yeah.
And then so like further brainstorming, we were just like baddest, like we're the baddest dudes. It's like,
Okay.
yep. Oh, I like that. Cool. Yeah, and then it also it leaves room for anybody to join. Like, there's no limit, right? Um, so just so it was the perfect name for it. Like, we could just add people if we want. And basically, yeah, like the very origins of it was I remember I was working a job I didn't like,
Yeah.
and I was on the phones with it, and I remember being like I was like in a call center sort of environment,
Yeah.
and I was on the phones with somebody, and we got to talking about video games, and then he started talking about Twitch, and this is before I even like started streaming or anything. Or did like YouTube. He started talking about Twitch, and he's like, "You should look into that." Blah blah blah. And so yeah, that's like kind of like when I started looking into it's like YouTube and like Twitch. Well, I think I was already watching YouTube at the time,
Yeah.
but when he brought up Twitch, I didn't really understand what that was, and streaming wasn't a huge thing at that time. There was streaming going on, but it was like really low key.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, I ended up just like starting like a YouTube channel on my own, and then just started doing solo let's plays. And I
Okay.
think it was just called like it was just like called Showtime. And I was just making other videos, like kind of getting into it, learning how to edit and stuff. And then I ended up getting laid off from my job, and I was able to have more time to be able to like learn and expand on it. But Sean knew what I was up to, and he was interested, and one thing led to another, and that's how it. So it started off with me doing the solo projects. I was
Yeah.
kind of using that to pitch to him like what I'm interested in doing,
Okay.
and then that's how that led to him getting involved,
And then
and then us
everybody.
coming up with the baddest dudes, and then doing the let's plays, inviting friends of mine throughout life as guests on episodes, and then eventually in like 2016 leading into like, oh, everybody's on. We were forming a community, and I'm pretty sure we knew you were a part of that early community.
Yeah. I was I think when I
Yeah.
popped up it was like 20 mid to late 2017 because that's when I first started doing YouTube was about like February
Okay.
2017. So
Okay. So yeah, we met like within our first year of doing live streams.
yeah.
But I remember like at the time, like everybody was doing the Let's Plays. That was the thing, and there was some people, and there were like on people on Twitch were doing streams like on was it J.TV or something like that. I
Yeah.
forgot what it was called, Jason TV or something. Before it was actually called Twitch, but like we on the YouTube side were all just obsessed with like watching or we're just making Let's Plays. But people started getting into the live streaming part, and eventually we caught that too. We're like, okay, this is it. This is what everybody's doing now. We got to get in the live streaming. So we kind of just switched gears, and then we turned it from Let's Plays and a bunch of editing and all that sort of thing to just basically doing a hybrid of live streaming and video
Yeah.
content. But it all kind of eventually just went into live streaming, and that's all we really did. And it was this crazy like party,
Oh my
just live
god.
streaming.
I
It
love
was
it.
insane. Yeah.
Man, that is man, the whole like how we met was just so I want to say it wasn't random, but more of like fate because shout out to Division 454 because that man had introduced me to you guys and a bunch of other people, which like
Oh yeah, yeah. The name sounds familiar.
yeah, he was the
The
dude that had the
division.
whole pirate get up, and he had like a whole scene
Mm.
where he would like I'm swabbing the poop deck, but
Oh yeah.
he's got a mop with the green screen shit. Like I was like, okay, I can fuck with that. I
I
could fuck
remember
with
that,
that.
dude. I
That
remember that, dude. Jeez, man.
that dude was
Man,
so funny.
such good memories, man,
A
of
lot of
those
good
days.
memories.
I can't believe it's already been like more than 5 years since those days. It's
Ah,
crazy.
man, you ain't even fucking lying. So
Yeah.
since we got into like we've been talking so far about like how the group started and like a little bit
Yep.
about your background history when it came to like how you first got introduced to video games. I want you to explain to the people now about your very first experience with content creating. So this is pertaining to your videos and your first live streams. So and what I mean by this is we want you to talk about your feelings, how you were feeling the first time you did your content. What was your first video or your stream that you can remember? and what platform you started on when you were doing said content.
So yeah, like believe it or not, but like my first Let's Play was Shovel Knight that I
Oh,
can remember.
fun game.
That's like when I was because I just got I remember I was thinking how am I going to get started in all this? And so I was watching YouTube videos and obviously I was super inspired. Um there was like Jesus Rocks or something, some like old school like YouTuber that was
Yeah.
like into video game collecting. Metal Jesus Rocks was his name,
Yeah.
and he would show off his collection, and then he had like this video of like his setup and everything. And so I kind of pretty much just like took notes from that. Like, and so I just started collecting. I got like a web camera. I got an Elgato HD, like one
Okay.
of the very early ones, like the legacy ones, which I'm still using.
No shit. Okay.
Yeti microphone here. Actually, I don't remember if I had this microphone first or until like Sean started joining, but I'm pretty sure I had this. But no, yeah, I was super excited to get going. I bought all this stuff, watching YouTube videos, like the recommendations, and then I just started doing a bunch of testing and learning how Elgato works, video editing works, cutting it up. I used Windows Movie Editor to start out.
There you go. Yep. The good ones.
It's so ancient and it's bullcrap. But I eventually moved to Vegas Movie Studio, which was I think Sony Vegas sold it. It was Sony Vegas, and then like it moved to some other entity. But
Okay.
yeah, anyway, so like I started like just doing like recordings of Shovel Knight. Completed the game. I remember when I was like first doing it, I was just by myself alone in a room, nobody watching, nothing, and just like, all right, well, I guess think of it just kind of like a diary. Just try to just fill the dead air. Just talk. Like just pretend that you're just talking into a void, and there are just people listening, but you can't see them.
Right.
So like, and I'm just like, okay, so just like just talk, fill the air, blah blah blah. And then so I would do that, and I would make like 30-minute episodes or something, 15, 30-minute episodes, and I just started posting them on the channel. And if you actually go to Baddest Dudes, you can see like if you go watch, they're still up. They're on playlists, like Shovel Knight's there. And then like the next one I did was like Dino Crisis. So the first one I did
Yeah.
Shovel Knight, which I don't know why I did Shovel Knight. I guess it was just the game I wanted to do at the time, and it was a perfect specimen for like a modern console
Okay.
at the time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's try this out just to see how modern consoles do. Um, and then, but then I moved to Dino Crisis, which I played on like a PS2 Slim, and I recorded, used the Elgato, all that stuff. Um, so I did a full Let's Play on that. Without pulling up YouTube, I'm kind of forgetting some other early ones that I did because it was so long ago. Oh, I did some Mega Man Legends,
Oh, hell
not
yeah.
on PlayStation, but it was just like a mixed bag. Oh, I did a full playthrough of Parasite Eve with the Let's Play long before I even learned the speed run. Um,
Man, I can't wait till we get
yeah,
into that.
yeah, I had like maybe like at least like 4 or 5 full series of solo Let's Plays on there.
Okay.
Before Sean got involved. And
Okay.
I think yeah, yeah. So I know this is about my experience, but yeah, but now that I'm remembering, the first game Sean and I were getting into, uh, that I can remember was The Last of Us, or not The Last of Us, not The Last of Us. It was Evil Within. That one, Evil
That
Within.
was the one with the detective, wasn't it? He was like hallucinating or some like you had to
Yeah,
fight
yeah,
monsters. Okay.
yeah. It was the creator of Resident Evil, Shinji Mikami,
Shinji. Oh, shout out.
directed it
Mm.
directed it as well. So but yeah, um, my feelings were just like, yeah, like when making them is I really liked it. I thought of it as like a video diary almost, like because I got laid off from the job. I think I even went through a breakup
Yeah.
around that time, so it was just kind of like really therapeutic for me to
Okay.
like to have this outlet. And I remember I was living with my one of my buddies at the time that I met in high school, skateboarded with, smoked the Schweed with, and all that fun stuff. Uh, and yeah, and but he never really got into it, so I was kind of just doing it myself. But he would kind of poke in every once in a while and check and be like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Like he didn't really want to be a part of it. I
Yeah.
don't know if he was shy or because it was back in 2015, so it was relatively still it was still underground. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it wasn't mainstream yet. Like nobody really, oh, you do that? Like aren't you too old for that? like it's just like, well, I don't give a fuck because I'm just gonna do what I want. And I guess that kind of reminds me of why I even started it is I don't really talk about this much, but like one of the biggest reasons why I started it was just because I was just kind of tired of just societal expectations on me and like
Yeah.
going through like what I should be doing in life at my age and da 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 and then going through breakups and all these things and just like, what? Stop the track. I am gonna just do my own thing.
Yeah.
Screw society expectations. Um, you know, if people think I'm too old to be doing this, playing video games or whatever, my family has always been supportive of it, even though they didn't understand it. They're just like, well, whatever makes you happy. So, um, and I was just like, because like I said, at the time, it was not normal to be doing this sort of thing. It was very underground.
Yeah.
Um, People judged you kind of like you're too old for this, or like, why don't you go do it? So I was just like, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna do my own thing. And I remember I had an ultimatum. Before I started doing it, I'm like, I had my video game collection, and I was like, either A, I grow up and fall in line with society the way that they want to see it, right? I sell all my shit, just sell all of my games. Like I'm too old for this stuff, right? Like,
Yeah.
or I hold on to it and I start making content with it. And obviously, I chose the latter.
Yeah, there you go. It's interesting to me because like out of everybody I interviewed, their first
Yeah.
feelings were either they were really scared, or shy.
Oh,
They
yeah,
had some people that were just completely clueless and they didn't know how to feel. And I believe you're
yeah,
like the only person so far that I talked to that was really excited about, getting into like your first video, which is for me, it's a nice first to hear because, it shows a dynamic of like everybody's perspective. And it's a little different for everybody else. And I agree with you 100% about like, like fuck society because society always has like this one fucking one track mind where they're just like, oh
yeah,
yeah, you have to do what we do, but why
yeah,
should we? If it's
yeah,
not benefiting everybody, then why should we? So that I
hmm
can understand. That is 100%, 100% respectable because I'd be on the same boat with you. I'm like, fuck this, I don't give a shit. And like the
yeah.
crazier thing too is like I actually my first episode that had just aired today. Well, yeah, today is February 1st, everybody. So by the time you see this, it'll be way later. My first episode.
Yeah, happy
So
February.
happy February, and you guys better listen. But the first episode that just aired today, I interviewed a man named Deadly Gamer 811, and he's actually a little bit older than us, like probably by like 10ish, 15ish years or so. So like I'm not entirely sure of his age, and even if I knew, I don't want to put it too far out there. But he's also another individual where I look at him like, okay, well, people saying we're too old. This man literally is older than us, and he is pursuing, and now he's an affiliate on Twitch, and now he's trying to reach partner, and his like numbers are really starting to look good. And he's a family friendly streamer, which me and you both know when we did this initially, it was hard for family friendly streamers to grow anywhere. And this man literally is just like breaking records on his own. Like, okay, so like
Yeah,
it's inspiring to watch people of different age groups really get into it and show what they're
yeah,
capable of.
yeah. And I would say like nowadays, it's a lot different when you're getting into it now. Obviously, because it's more socially acceptable.
Yeah,
It's the mainstream, so it's like, oh, you're getting into streaming, cool. It's like, you know what I mean? Like everybody knows really what that is. And yeah, family friendly. That we actually tried doing that at the beginning, just because like since it was so new to us, we didn't really know.
yeah,
And we got into it while it was it wasn't streaming. It was just all pre-recorded stuff. So it wasn't as nerve-wracking as just getting into it, jumping into streaming, right?
yeah,
That I could see being more nerve-wracking. But the funny thing I want to point out, what I mean by we're trying to be family friendly, is uh I didn't like we like to drink beers, obviously.
yeah,
I don't think a lot of people know this, but like for those that remember us back in those days, but like we would be drinking beers during the recordings, but we would not make it known.
yeah.
We
Just
we
keep it
would
hidden.
like we wouldn't have a camera, and we like for a lot of the beginning stuff, and we would just like we would be sipping on our beers, trying to be quiet. Nobody would know about it, but but like down the road, we realized like who gives a fuck, you know? Like we're fucking, and I think a lot of people remember us like the later years of Baddest Dudes streaming. We're all fucking just getting drunk on stream.
Yeah. Man, that's the fun. That's where all the fun
Right.
begins right there.
Yeah. But it kind of started out family friendly. Like we kind of like watched our language. We weren't like so as crude, like, you know, dropping F bombs here and there. We tried to be more professional and stuff and all that sort of thing. But yeah,
I feel it.
but
Honestly,
cool.
I never was family. I couldn't do it. I grew up in a family where swearing was a thing, so I'm like, there's no way I can do it. I'm not gonna, even gonna try.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so here's another question for you. So you did
Yep.
mention a creator earlier on. I forgot the name. It was like the first creator that you had mentioned. This was like one of the biggest ones that you did watch. Now, was this
Oh,
person the one that
Game
inspired you?
Grumps?
Yeah, yeah, Game Grumps.
Yeah.
You said
Game
they.
Grumps is probably the biggest one. There's Game Grumps, Super Best Friends Play, and then yeah, the other one I mentioned was Metal Jesus Rocks.
Okay, so all these guys inspired you as far as with your content. Now, can you talk
Yeah.
to us about, if you want to just do one, that's fine, or you can do like one for each. What
hmm
what was your favorite content from these creators?
My favorite content?
Yeah.
It was like the old classic, like PlayStation, Nintendo 64 Let's Plays and stuff like that.
Okay.
And just like, just them like, you know, shooting the shit, talking over it, really.
Uh,
Uh, I mean, there's not really much more to it than that because that's what they did.
I got you. I got you. So it's just all the old school stuff that they did mainly. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just I saw it as like a comedy show, like a podcast comedy show, just like talk, you know, doing something that I really felt like it was super a super new thing, right, with
Yeah.
video games at the time. And that's really what pulled me in. It was just that it was literally just them doing their thing of just, hey, we're just a couple guys, you know, in our basement and we're recording uh these old school PS1 games like as if like how when we were kids, just, you know, on the couch talking and shooting the shit. And I was like, this is like one of the greatest ideas ever for video games of content. um but yeah, I was mostly drawn to like to because I was drawn to them specifically because they were a part of like my type of games that I liked.
Yeah.
It wasn't like because at the time there was obviously like the new games that were a lot of online multiplayer and, you know, just newer modern games, but I was ultimately more into the old retro stuff. So they were playing the retro stuff that I grew up with. So that's what really drawn me into them.
I like it. I like it.
And I
Okay.
saw them as like collectors too of games. So yeah,
Sweet.
that's what drew me into it because they're
Okay.
all playing on the original consoles and stuff, and with the actual like cartridges and discs. So I was like, yeah, this is my shit.
I love it. I love it. And
Yeah.
unlike us, where sometimes we have to download fucking emulators and ROMs and shit,
Yep.
and they don't work half the time. Fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I just recently got into uh emulation, mostly for speedrunning purposes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always prefer just to just do console. I've always been a console gamer at heart.
Feel it. I'm on the same boat, man. I love my physical, consoles, but if I have to,
Mhm.
if I can't own some of the shit that, like, because I don't have no room. Like, I don't think many people have much room for all their shit, depending on their
Yeah.
situation. So it's, but all right. So since we already talked about that, let's talk about genre of video games. Now, I've known you to play a lot of horror games, but I've
Yep.
never asked, out of the years
Yeah.
that we talked, I've never asked you what your favorite genre is and what your least favorite is, and if you can explain to us why, one is your favorite and one is your least favorite.
Let me just say right now, because this just comes immediately to mind what my least favorite is. I think it's just those, and I know I might get some flack for this, but it's like the Diablo style games.
Okay, I can see that.
And well, actually, no, not well. I guess that does include MMOs
Yeah,
in a sense. So let's just say MMO style games like isometric, uh, min max sort of stuff. You know, just leveling your character up, like that sort of those sort of games. Like you
yeah,
had like Diablo, World of Warcraft, MMOs. those sort of games. Not a fan of them. I tried, can't get into them really. I don't really like open world games that much, which is odd because I really like RPGs.
Yeah,
But that's a different kind of open world, like that I'm willing to accept. But like MMO style, there's just too much to do, too time consuming. I have other things I got to do, other games I want to play. However, I do love RPGs like So this Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time, followed by Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. It's my second favorite game of all
hell
time.
yeah,
So this is giving you ideas of genres I like.
yeah,
And then Resident Evil is like my third favorite game of all time, but it's my favorite series of all time. So
yeah.
I would probably say survival horror could be my favorite genre.
Love
Old
it.
school classic tank controls, uh, you know, that sort of thing, like fighting monsters. That could be my favorite. Growing up, I remember I didn't like top-down games. Like I didn't really like Zelda, like bird's eye view games back
Yeah,
in the day. Even though I would dabble in them, they were not my go-to. I really love like Sonic the Hedgehog, Mario. I was a 2D platformer nerd. Um, I still love them, but I don't think they're my favorite anymore. That's why I think like survival horror is my favorite, and then RPGs definitely has to be like my top three genres, and then the other one would be just like action adventure puzzle solving stuff like Zelda.
I love it. Okay.
So so yeah. So that there you go.
I like. All right, cool. That's actually unique because I've never had anybody that gave me like multiple favorites. You
It's
know,
because yeah, if you know me and you do,
yeah,
I can't just focus on one game for too long. I have gamer ADD, dude. Like
yeah,
especially as a speedrunner, like a lot of speedrunners, and if you want to like grow your channel and stuff, and like even get like really top times
yeah.
in the speedrunning sense, you just got to stick to one game. But like the thing is, just I just get bored of playing the same game over and over, and I got to switch it up constantly. So I can't just have one
Man, honestly, I think I'm
favorite.
on the same boat because I had just recently re-downloaded all my games back on Xbox, and because I got a new external, so I have about 199 games now downloaded,
Yeah,
and every time I click on one game, I'm like 10 minutes in, now I'm gonna go to another game. 10 minutes in,
yep.
I'm gonna go to another. Like, fuck, man, I gotta stop doing that shit.
I know. I've been there as well. It's like when you got so many games, it's just like yeah, you just want to try them all.
Oh,
You just want to play them all.
it
It's
sucks,
hard to stick
man.
to one. Yeah,
All
yeah, I
right.
hear that.
So I don't know if anybody asked you. I think you might find this very intriguing. Let's get into your channel name. Now,
Sure.
we all know you as Showtime, but
Yep.
can you give us the history of how you got that name?
Yep. I love telling this story.
Oh, hell
Um,
yeah.
so so basically, so it is a variation of my last name. I'm not obviously not gonna drop my real full last name, but I don't mind. It's just like the first half of it.
Yeah.
Uh, it's show SJO, and so this is how it happened. Back in high school, okay, freshman year, believe it or not, I did play sports and stuff. It wasn't like the most fond of sports,
Yeah.
but I did play them. So back in high school, I joined the football team, freshman football, and also that same year is when I got into skateboarding because my brother was skateboarding at the time. He had a friend he was skateboarding with, and then I met a skateboarder through or a rollerblader at the time through football, and I met someone else. I think it was through a science class that I learned love playing the same video games that I played and stuff.
Yeah.
And like he was a rollerblader getting that also skateboarded, and so we started hanging out. The guy in science class and me, and then like found out that him and the guy in my football team knew each other and have been friends for a bit.
Okay.
So like there were rollerbladers together, right? But this guy in my science class, who actually was on, he was Quinn Bross. I don't know if you remember Quinn Bross. That was a name that was dropped in the Baddest Dudes era because
I believe so, yeah.
he did some FF7. He did even some live streams. He was actually a member of the Baddest Dudes at one point.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, I
there's
remember that. Yeah. Okay.
Quinn Bross. He was the one that was the rollerblader and the skateboarder I met in science class. And like there was the guy in on the football team. So we all started hanging out in skateboarding,
Yeah.
right? The other guy from the football team, he started it to warm up to skateboarding and just went full throttle skateboarding. But yeah, we all kind of just did. But the point being is that so that's how we all knew each other. And uh, so in high school, it was during like a practice or something. Uh, my last name is hard to pronounce. You know, the SJO. Nobody knows how to fucking say it.
Yeah.
So like the one of the coaches was like trying to call for my name, and he was like, I don't know what this is. I'm just gonna call you Showtime,
Oh damn.
right?
Okay.
So my freshman football coach called me Showtime, right? And my skateboarder buddy on the team was there that day, and he heard it. And the next time we all got together to skateboard, he started calling me Showtime,
And that stuck.
and it
Holy
stuck.
shit.
And that's pretty much what I started to do for all my online screen handles and AOL, that sort of thing. And like, my online persona just became Showtime. And I decided just to instead of just spelling it Showtime, I just like, well, let's get creative with it. The first part of my last name is pronounced show, so just spell it SJO and
Yeah.
then and just make it so instead of an I in time, just make it a Y because it looks more classy
Yeah.
and it kind of goes together with the J,
I like it. I like it.
like visual style. So I was like, okay, Showtime, that's it. And so that's how that came to be.
Oh my god, dude. The fact that you
So
got a whole nickname from the coach is crazy.
right, and yeah, I was just kind of like that was just like my nickname, like in high school, early college, amongst all my friends. It's just Showtime.
Okay.
So I'm just like, why the fuck would I change it for
Yeah,
my online persona?
man, that is sick. Now, you're
Yeah.
probably gonna, since you're gonna be seeing Sean later, you're probably gonna kill him later. But he wanted me to ask you about a story, a specific
Oh,
story,
oh boy.
and this story revolves around some females and you and him in the same room, and you shutting them down or some shit. He was
Well, see if
telling
I can remember because nothing's ringing a bell right now.
so if I remember correctly, he was telling me how there was a story between you and him, and there was like a female that he wanted to talk to at the time, and it all pertained to him trying to prove that he was a gamer, but you're like, nah, you're not a gamer, or something, around that topic.
I think
Yeah.
this really sticks out to him. Like, I know what you're talking about when it comes to that. Like, he'll never let it live down. Like, he'll never forget and it's like one of his things, one of his vendettas is that I did not really think that he was as hardcore of a gamer as he is.
Yeah.
So I didn't give him like the credit of like being a hardcore gamer. Like, it's like, Sean, I don't even know if like you're that good at games, are you? Like, do you like play games anymore? Or, like, I thought he was like a normie when it came to games,
Yeah.
right? That's pretty much what it was. Like, I didn't think of, but he's actually really good at games, and he proved to me that he is really good at games still, and he's not just like some normie. So,
I
because
feel it.
he was really big into sports, very
Yeah.
social, party. He was that sort of outgoing, like jock kind of person,
Yeah.
right? At the time, that didn't mix with video games. You
No,
remember?
that was very
Like, wait,
rare.
exactly. So that's where my mentality was coming from. I'm like, you're this like jock type social dude that likes to go out and party and hang out with lots of people. Like, you can't be good at games. Like, but he proved me wrong. And yeah,
Oh shit.
to this day, he won't ever let me forget that.
There you
But
go.
no,
There you
I
go.
give him 100% credit. Like, he's really good. He's actually he's much better at RE2 remake as I have. I haven't really put a whole lot of time into it,
Yeah.
but I could safely say he's better than me at it. He can get better times and speedruns than me at this current moment in time.
I feel it. Honestly, I haven't played it that much either. It's been, just like anybody else. You have other avenues you want to search. Like I gotta,
Yeah.
this is off topic, but I'm also working on an album right now, a hip hop album,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be, like my focus now is just shifted straight to that, and I do just streams, or like little video clips that I put up. So there you go, Shondo. You got your story told again.
Yep, there you go. I don't remember the whole female aspect to it, like, but maybe I think at a party or something there was two girls there or something,
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah.
and I was trying to be a Chad gamer or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, he was the way he
I
explained it was
remember all
like
the details.
the way he explained it was like he got cocked blocked. I'm like, well, I mean,
Yeah, maybe because the girls were into games and stuff, we were having a conversation about it, and I was like, "Ah, Sean's not like he's not into it."
I feel it.
I don't remember, but that I'm just gonna guess that's kind of what maybe happened.
It sounds about. I think that was the actual story. I was just trying to
It's,
get my detail.
it was so long ago.
Oh my god! All right, so
Yeah.
now we got to learn a lot about you. You know your story,
Yeah.
like I said earlier, your story behind how you got into games, your inspirations. Now we got to learn a little bit more. You know, as far as your history behind your name, how you got it. You know, your friendships with people within your group and outside of your group. Now we're gonna move into questions that I have not typed down, and that is your
Sure.
speed running. Now,
Oh yeah.
when I first learned that you were learning how to speed run, I believe the first game that I watched you speed run was Resident Evil 1, the original. And that one you were
Yeah.
grinding like crazy for what, like some months before you actually learned to perfect your time and like all the maneuvers
Yep.
within that game. What can you tell me if I can get this question out right, because I'm starting to look like an idiot on camera. Uh,
You're fine.
what content creator have you seen or has inspired you to get into speed running? Because I feel like everybody
Yeah.
should know like that category is a difficult category to really get into.
Yeah. So here's how I got into speedrunning. So back in the day, like I think as a lot of people that know me, have known me for a while, know that I took like a hiatus, like a really long break, like almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I just got burned out from everything. Managing a team of people, just constantly editing for hours on end, creating videos, recordings, streaming, drinking, partying, just years just catching up with me. I'm just like, fuck, dude, I need a break from this online stuff. Um, but so that's that. That was like maybe 2018, 2019. But before that, I actually started getting into speedrunning because, but that what I just said there, that's important to the whole speedrunning thing, which I'll get to later.
Yeah.
Um, but before that, it was like maybe around 2017-ish, 2018-ish is when I started getting into speedrunning. Is I noticed that's like when I started getting into Twitch more. And I noticed that people on Twitch were doing this thing called speedrunning. And I did see some YouTube videos from Games Done Quick. So
Oh, yep. GDQ.
everybody knows what GDQ is. And also, fun fact, I actually was on a GDQ hotfix uh,
What?
back in December, uh, doing commentary. I wasn't the runner,
Okay.
but I was doing commentary. I was like on the couch,
Okay.
online, for a runner of the game who's the current world record holder for it. And I was just I was doing the couch commentary for it just last month. But anyways, that's beside the point. Point is, I pretty much really got into it from watching GDQ way back in the day. Like I remember watching the YouTube videos like here and there around the time where we were doing Baddest Dudes and stuff. And I have a lot of like energy, like and like like
Yeah.
like full charge, let's go, like and so I felt that like speedrunning games was just like a good outlet for me to get that to for that energy. Just like go balls to the wall, just try to go as fast as I can. But I remember just like liking the energy of it all and just seeing runners run the classic games on GDQ, and then also like I was watching some Resident Evil speedrunners, one in particular, Carcinogen was a like my first Twitch follow when it came to speedrunning. But uh I just knew it was for me. I would just like I was obsessed with it. And I started actually speedrunning on the YouTube channel with Baddest Dudes with the Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
But I didn't get too serious about it. I was just dabbling in it. Uh that was like the first like I guess time of really doing it. But I remember as a kid, Resident Evil has an IGT at the end when you beat the game. Uh So I remember as a kid, when I would play that, I would always try to bring that time down.
Yeah.
So that was like really it's kind of like really one of my earliest times of speedrunning without really even realizing it. But so I did that like as a kid, and then like during the Twitch era, I got into GDQ and watching Carcinogen do Resident Evil, and then kind of like I was doing some YouTube, and then that's kind of when I got burned out, and I'm like, "Ah, I'm done." So like for right now at least. So I stopped. But what ended up happening is I still was interested in speedrunning,
Okay.
right? So I was like, that didn't die away. I'm just like, I love speedrunning. I'm just gonna keep watching people on Twitch speedrun. I'm totally into this. I don't care if I'm not streaming it or making content. I just want to absorb myself fully into the speedrunning scene and
Yeah.
see what it's all about, right? And so I remember starting to do some runs offline, just doing recording the videos and submitting them to the leaderboards that way. Like I wasn't streaming it. I was just recording it, streaming, and then posting it to the leaderboards. Um, but I got into a relationship that lasted about a year. Things didn't work out, um, and and then what ended up happening is when she left the picture, I was like, kind of want to get back into streaming again, right?
Yeah.
So long story short, during that whole hiatus, I was still doing speedrunning as I was doing the recording. And then I got a girlfriend, then I became single again. And I'm like, I want to get back into speedrunning and streaming. I want to get back into streaming, but I actually want to start streaming the speedruns. And that's all I'm going to do now. It's all I care to do. I don't care about like group collaborations. I don't want to do team stuff. I just want to do solo focus, just me doing speedrunning.
Okay.
And Sean was like, dude, go for it. You know, like he was fully supportive of it. And so it was like, all right, cool. Because because at that time we were just so used to working on everything together. I just kind of wanted to go solo and just focus on that only. And he gave me the blessing, and that's kind of how it turned into where it is now. But yeah, so I started streaming just speedrunning constantly. Started off with Resident Evil, then I just like branched out to like Silent Hill, Dino Crisis, speedrunning that, and then like it just kind of just snowballed into just everything that every game that I like Parasite Eve. I even did a Final Fantasy VII, which I plan to go back to. I'm doing Silent Hill 3 right now on console. I want to learn Zelda Ocarina of Time. It's just speedrunning to me is just like it's one of the greatest things that I just love in life. Like it's my hobby. I always keep coming back to it. It's addicting, and there's a huge, awesome, supportive community behind speedrunning as well, and it's just really cool. So
I love it.
that's just kind of how we got here.
I love it. I love it. That
Yeah,
is so crazy. Now, I don't actually know um this answer, but I'm curious. What is your all-time favorite game to speedrun?
yeah. So this is a tough question, but I think it might be Parasite Eve.
Parasite Eve. Now, can you explain why that
Yeah,
would be your all-time favorite?
my all-time favorite being Parasite Eve, probably because uh, I it's kind of long. It's like about 2.5 hours, but I
Yeah.
think that's like perfect for maybe doing like a one and done or just two. But it's a really chill run. The music is amazing. Parasite Eve is one of my favorite games growing up of all time. Um, I would say it's definitely within my top 10. Um, maybe it's like my fourth favorite game. But anyways, it's just I love the atmosphere of it, the darkness of it. That it takes place during Christmas. Like it's the tones of the game are cool. Like there's like how it's monsters. It's a combination. Like back in the day, it was like survival horror mixed with RPG elements.
Yeah.
And you didn't really see that shit back then. So I just instantly got hooked to the game. I love the game environments, everything like that. And like I said, the speedrun's pretty chill. If and it forces you to actually like do all the battles and the fights because normally in speedrunning you just run away
Avoid.
from enemies, you avoid enemies. But this game you have to get into the fight. So there's
Oh,
actually so it forces you to play the game the way that it
okay.
was supposed to. So that makes it an interesting speed run from my perspective. Also, it's very complicated with like the weapon system and like the tooling system, and like there's all these little intricacies in there that like think of it as like a Jenga
Yeah.
tower. It's just constantly swaying back and forth, and you're just constantly having to figure out, okay, well, I'm in this situation now, so what do I have to do in this situation in terms of my ammo or blah blah blah, right? It's like you're always thinking, having to think of what you got to do based on your current situation, which is like Jenga.
Okay. I,
It's,
I like that. I have actually never played
yeah,
Parasite Eve, but I've always seen gameplay of it, and it looks very interesting.
highly recommend it.
Highly recommend. All right, you hear that, folks? You better get yourself a copy if you can find one. Get
Yeah,
it now.
get
Um,
it.
so here's a question. I think you might find extremely interesting. Out of all the content that you have done so far, between regular
Yep.
Let's Plays, fun, just play, not even a Let's Play, just having fun with a game, and then you're doing your speed runs. If you could change any one thing about your content, what would that be?
Then I would have the energy to do it more.
Energy to do it more. Okay, I feel it.
Yeah,
I
that's the first thing that comes to mind because I love doing this sort of thing, but I'm kind of getting old. I'm almost 40 now, and like I work a full-time job and I'm on call,
yeah.
and my job requires me. I essentially work in IT, so my job requires me to constantly problem solve, use my brain, and work with a team
Oh my.
constantly to work to a common goal, right? And
Yeah.
like 40 hours a week minimum. So every day after work, when I get home, I'm just like, I don't want to be in front of a computer for the next 3 hours of my day when I've already been in front of one all day, pretty much helping
Yeah.
people with the computer. And it's just like I'd rather just chill, veg out, um, and then so it's like it's pretty much limited to, for the most part, like just weekends, so I can really put in a grind session. Just like that's like where I have the time and the energy. That's why I just like to do things like early in the day, stuff like this,
Yeah.
like on a weekend. So yeah, I mean that's if I could change anything about my content, it would be to do it more.
To do it
But
more.
yes.
Okay. I like that. So when it comes down to it, how long do you see yourself continuing to do content for? Realistically.
Yeah, realistically, I thought about this, and I think I'll never stop. Um,
Hell yeah.
I might take breaks. I might take I might take long breaks. Like I just took a 6 month hiatus from internet,
Yeah.
kind of, uh, and like content creation stuff. But I'm back again. I'm excited to be here, and like I want to do more. But that's just kind of how it always is. Like I think I'll never stop doing this. But like I said, yeah, that's the short answer. I'll never stop doing it. But you might see me take like long breaks here and there. But I feel like I'll always come back.
I like that. That's fair. Yeah, I know you
Yeah.
come back. It's like somebody's like, "Hey, I guarantee if I was to put a bet on it with somebody, they would lose." They tell me you wouldn't come
Yeah.
back. I'm like, you're gonna lose grands, and I'm splitting that money with Showtime. I hope you know.
Yeah. Yep. I always like to tell everybody that if you notice that I kind of just disappeared, that's just kind of how I do it. Like I don't really like to make a big scene of it,
Yeah,
but I might like pop up here and there. But if I officially ever decide to leave, I will tell you guys. I'm not just going to just drop off the face of the earth without notice. So if you notice, I've just kind of gone away for a while. It's probably just because I'm just trying to get a break and kind of recoup and like a mental break or something.
I feel that. I feel it. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's say hypothetically, right? Somebody comes into your stream, during your speed runs or during like a casual play. Hey,
Yep.
I'm new to the channel. Great. I love your content. I have a question for you. I'm thinking about starting, my own journey streaming or videos. What advice can you give this individual who wants to start this journey?
For somebody that's just starting out, I would ask them like, "Hey, what do you have to work with? Like, do you just have a computer? Do you have like old consoles, retro games, that sort of thing?" So, looking at what they have at their disposal in terms of gaming,
Yeah,
right? And then just go from there. Like, oh, okay, you have consoles. All right. Well, you got to get a capture card. You got to get all this sort of stuff. What kind of content do you want? Like, so basically, it would just be like a back and forth of questions and answers of like, because you have to like learn what kind of a person they are before you can really like recommend what they want to do.
yeah,
So, but ideally, if you're just getting started out with this stuff, if you have a modern computer, you could easily just get into OBS, do some PC games because it doesn't require all the extra peripherals. of capturing consoles and the
Yeah.
complications that go along with it.
Yeah.
You just download OBS, you get your camera, you got your mic, your headphones, and you got your downloaded games from Steam or whatnot. And you can just easily capture them with no problems and just dive into it that way. The best thing that you could do, I guess, when you're just starting streaming, I think everybody says this, is even if nobody is talking and nobody's watching you, or you think nobody's watching you, maybe you have like one viewer or two. Don't let that get you down. Just be yourself. Pretend that like this is like what when I first started out, I was doing the solo let's plays. I was picturing the void. Uh, I don't see anybody, but I know they're listening.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how you got to get into that mentality. Just talk. Even if you don't think anybody's listening, it doesn't matter. You might get somebody popping in and then they're hearing you talk and they're like, "Oh, okay." Because like a lot of people, when you get to know you, the voice is really important.
Right.
It's the vibrations that you're putting out to the world, right?
Yeah.
When people hear your voice, they get a better connection with you. And even so, I guess yeah, make sure you're using microphone. Cam is optional, I would say. Um, don't need it,
Yeah.
but I think it's good and healthy to use it because it betters the connection with people. I don't always use camera because sometimes I'm not in the mood. That's fine. But I always use a microphone. So that's what I would recommend is no matter what you do, just use a microphone at least. I know that there are some people that just like no cam, no mic, and they're into it, and other people are into it. That's perfectly fine. Do whatever is most comfortable for you. But I would recommend at least microphone. But yeah, um, even if like there's not a whole lot of people there, you just got to pretend that you're just like recording a video maybe by yourself.
There you
And
go.
you know what I mean? And because also turn off your viewer count, how many viewers you have. That's another big one. If don't pay attention to how many viewers are watching you. It's trust me, people will your emotions will reflect like if you're not happy with your viewer count, like your emotions will most likely reflect that. And like it's a weird roller coaster ride. I used to really like I used to always like monitor my viewer count, and like if I noticed like maybe five people left at once, like I would take a hit in the inside. I wouldn't say anything, but like I'm like, oh shoot, five people left, right? So it's like if you just turn off your viewer, you don't know how many people are watching you. You're the point being is you just be yourself,
Yeah.
and all you're doing is you're just focusing on the chat and who's there with you, and that's all that matters is who's there, and like even if you don't know who's there and there's nobody talking, you're at least just focusing on the content itself, what you're doing, because nobody gives a shit how you feel. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Nobody, nobody, no, a complete stranger coming to your stream is not going to give a shit how you feel. So it's like, as long as you're being yourself, you're in a positive mood, good, sending out good vibrations. That's the key.
I like it.
So, anyways, yeah.
That's good advice right there. So, that's actually really solid advice because I don't think anybody like realistically us as content creators, we haven't thought about, to turn off numbers. We don't figure that out till later down that line where it's like you kind of sometimes need to ignore a lot of
Yep.
the little aspects of things. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, since we got into, really good stuff like this, show if you can please do us a favor. I know your streaming schedule is, like mine and Shondo's. It's really wonky. Sometimes we're on, sometimes we're not. Can you at least let us know the best way for people to be notified to all of your streams? What is the one way that they can do that?
Yeah, the the number one thing is to realize that I have an underscore in my name. So it's twitch.tv/showtime underscore.
There you go.
I have there is a Showtime that I own that channel. Um, but I don't use it. It's for reasons. And uh I'm trying to use it,
Okay.
but like I'm afraid of losing like the domain name. It's a weird thing. But anyways, that's
Yeah.
beside the point. I'm on Twitch for the most part only. Like I don't do social media or any of that sort of thing. So the best way to really know what I'm streaming is just to follow me on Twitch, turn on notifications, and as far as the schedule goes, mostly Saturdays and Sundays, but Sundays is probably like my most day the day that I stream the most. I like to try to go as early as possible. in the morning or afternoons. I'm not a really big night streamer these days. I like to do morning afternoons, but Saturdays and Sundays is when you're gonna catch me the most streaming. It I could stream after work, but it's very rare these days because of work and stuff. But yeah, Saturday Sundays, turn notifications on and know that I have an underscore.
All right, sounds good. Well, Show, I appreciate you so much for popping in and giving us your time, man. I really do appreciate that. A lot of fun. This interview has been amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
no problem, Angel. This is a lot of fun, actually. Yeah,
yeah,
it's take going down memory lane. It's always good talking with you.
absolutely, man. Always good catching up with you and everybody at home. Please do me a favor. He's only got one. I don't want to hear no fucking excuses that you can't find him. I'm putting the link in the description. You guys better follow this man. Check him out. He does speed runs all the time. Trust me, you're not going to be bored. You're going to have a lot of fun with his streams. But until then, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
All right, guys. Peace out.